Black and Indigenous American. I hope you all are doing well. Uh, Happy Wednesday. Happy uh, full moon eve for December. Full moon will be um, at 12, I want to say AM or PM on the 12th. So that's pretty cool. It's probably very significant as well. So just want to wish you guys that. So this video is going to probably be, it's probably going to be all over the place. But first off, self-love. That's the first thing I'm going to talk about. The second thing I'm going to talk about is indecent exposure. And then the third thing I was going to talk about is counseling student debts, University of Phoenix. And then whatever else comes, pops in my head or whatever. So I am an advocate for empowering people, reminding people of their unique beauty and what they bring to the table and their value. And I didn't always feel that way about myself. But I've learned over the years that you have to love yourself first before you can receive love from someone else properly. Many times we base our value on our bank accounts, the clothes we wear, the car we drive, the house we live in, the neighborhood we live in, what clubs we're members of, secret societies or whatever, in order to stroke our ego. And at the same time, when you strip all that away, what else is left? And so it's because whenever you have anyone on a platform that is very influential, they typically are I don't know if it's fair, but it comes with the territory. If you're on a platform where you have many viewers, followers, fans, what have you, you're automatically in a position where whatever you do will either positively or negatively influence another, especially people or young people who are very impressionable. Okay. When you walk around spitting low vibrational opinions about your own self, if you do that enough, you're going to attract more situations of people that will validate that because you created that atmosphere. And so, learning how to have that and not look for it is very, very much important, very important. Oh, it's in the dishwasher. I put that in the dishwasher along with the thing. Maybe it fell at the bottom. Did you look at the bottom?
Yep.
Sorry, I had to pause for a second, but yeah, so I think it's important, especially when you have children or people who look up to you, speak life into your life. Speak life into your life. Because if you're talking about, oh, my skin is so ugly, or my nose is so wide, or my lips are not thick enough or too thick, or my butt is too big, or my hair is not straight enough, or my curls don't curl like the other person's hair curls. I want my curls to be spirals versus, tight coil curls. If you verbalize that constantly, and if you have people around you that look up to you, what's happening is, even though you may not necessarily think that you are influencing them, sometimes they see themselves through you. And if you don't feel good about yourself, if you have a negative opinion about yourself, that's setting up another category of people where they're going to also have opinions about themselves in a negative way. So I wanted to get that out of the way. It's nothing wrong with loving yourself. Nothing. But then there's a thin line. And there's this artist by the name of Lizzo. She is an entertainer. She sings, she raps, she work it on the stage or wherever she is. And she plays an instrument, a flute. So I'm also a former band member. So I used to play the clarinet. But anyway, she's very talented. But she decided to go to, if you don't know already, she decided to go to an NBA game and sit on the front row. And some of the dancers or whatever, the dance squad, wanted to dance to her song, during halftime or whatever, which is fine. I mean, that's an honor, for someone to want, on a national level, a big ball game and play your music. This is where she crosses the line. As soon as the dancers came out and started dancing to her music, she decides that she wants to get up and not, dance like them or whatever. I don't see nothing wrong with that because she loves attention, She likes attention. Very, I guess, extroverted. But the problem is she had her buttocks, the cheeks of her buttocks and everything else exposed with the G-string or whatever in the middle. It's like she probably had some stretch pants or something. Well, do I want to say stretch pants? I don't even know what kind of pants to wear. It's like somebody just cut holes in them and allowed her booty cheeks, her butt to be exposed. Kind of like Prince. You remember how Prince, for those who are Prince fans, how he would dance around in his concerts with his butt cheeks hanging out? It was kind of like that, but on another level. And she twerking, and people that don't know what twerking is, that's bending your knees, popping your butt up and down, up and down, up and down, and letting your booty jiggle. That's pretty much what she did. And she didn't just do that for the people behind her sitting because they were laughing. She turns around so the camera can see all of her business. That's where she crossed the line, in my opinion. In my opinion, she has this platform of empowerment, and that's great, and loving who you are and being the best you can be and not tearing other people down just so you can feel taller. I commend her for that. But for her at a ball game where there's young people there, not the club, not the strip club, not her concerts, which is very X-rated. This is a ball game where you have families with their little kids with them. They don't need to see you or anybody else twerking with your booty hanging out. That's a strike in my book. And I think thus far she hasn't apologized, because she's like, this is who I am who I am, I'm not gonna change, F you. All right, she's still gonna do her. Some people are comparing her to like a Cardi B, very out there and loud. And in some cases, some people may also describe her as ghetto. But in my opinion, there's some insecurity going on. There's some deep-rooted insecurity. Because if you know you got it going on, and you don't, as she says, I don't need a crown. I'm a queen, but I don't need a crown. Okay, if you know all this about yourself, why do you feel the need at a gathering like that to act like you at a strip club? Again, there's some deep-rooted insecurities. Number two, right? Hi, Ari Ben. Thanks for chiming in. I'm talking about Lizzo. Her recent whatever. Anyway, so is at a ball game. She twerking with her booty cheeks hanging out. And hi, Alan. Thanks for chiming in. I'm talking about Lizzo. If you're not familiar with her, you can Google her real quick. But she is twerking or whatever at an event where there's families, not a strip club, not a concert, none of that. She gonna be who she is, how she is. She gonna turn it up, as she says. She gonna turn it up. Yeah, she's a rapper. And she ain't gonna change for nobody. Now, I've seen Cardi B. I've seen several female celebrities that are known for their very sexual shows sitting on the front row at a ball game, and there's no need to show their business. They're at a ball game. They're either texting on the phone just to be seen next to whoever, or they're watching a ball game. So this is what I see. Me discerning, okay? Me discerning. If you've been following me for a while, or if you have seen my videos in the past, I think I started posting in 2007, I believe. I think around there. You guys saw what I looked like. And I was very heavy. And in some people's eyes, I am still considered a plus size woman, which is fine because I'm comfortable. But back then I was not comfortable. I was very uncomfortable, and living around relatives that are very almost obsessed with weight. And here I come, not, a size 7 or whatever. I'm thick, right? And hearing the comments, oh, you should lose weight, and what you been eating, and what's going on, and are you depressed? And so you have the pressures from loved ones, not just the public, but from loved ones, when you're heavier. And many times they talk about people who are heavy in such a nasty way. So I understand, coming from how I used to carry weight, and some of the insecurities, not all, because I was all about education. Like, you could talk about me all day about how many rolls I got in my back, but when it comes to my intelligence, you cross the line if you talk about my intelligence. And I don't respect people that try to talk down to people. I have a problem with that. But when it comes to weight or whatever, I mean, occasionally it would get on my nerves, or if I'm trying to find something to wear for a special event or something, that type of stuff. But I didn't every day feel like, oh, I'm so ugly or I'm so unattractive. Because guess what? I attracted a different category of guys when I was heavier, believe it or not. And that's the misconception with people thinking, oh, big girls can't get a man or can't keep a man or whatever. No, that's not the case. Not at all. There are plenty of men who would much rather for their women to be, unfortunately, morbidly obese, right? But you do have guys out there who love big women, period. So again, that's the misconception that big women can't have a man or can't keep a man. But the problem that I have with Lizzo's actions and her platform, I get it's empowerment, but part of her platform is, I don't need a man. I just want you so you can work my metal and you can go because I got my money, I got my house, my car, my clothes, my hair, whip my hair, got my nails done. I don't need you. Oh, you thought I wasn't all that? Oh, did you bump your head? Oh, I am fly, right? I don't know if that's a wall that she has built up over the years to clap back real quick on people when they talk about her weight. But what she did recently at that ball game, to me, out of taking time to look at a few of her videos, some of the award shows that she performed at, I'm like, I get it. You want to show the beauty in all women, not just skinny girls. But what she did at that ball game, it was almost like, you gonna see me. It wasn't enough for them to dance to her song and for her to be in the crowd, dancing along in her seat and giggling and smiling and having a good time, right? No, that wasn't good enough. She had to get up and pop and twerk and all that along with the dancers. But she was still where she was sitting, but she stood up and then turn around and popping and twerking and everything like that with her booty hanging out. Literally, G-string. To me, that's a bit overkill. That's almost like, you gonna see me. Look at me. Look at me. I exist. I'm not invisible. I'm gonna make you see me. I'm gonna make you see how sexy I am. I'm like, to me, that's, in my opinion, that's very borderline insecurity. And whenever she's rapping or singing about a man, to me, that is desperation. Because if she was kind of like an artist that sung about stuff, and then occasionally sprinkle a little sexy lyric here and there, that's fine. Nothing wrong with good old fashioned sex. But to me, it seemed like she's kind of shifting, or maybe she's always been this way, but it's kind of like she's shifting to borderline pornography, like big girls gone wild pornography. There are porn out there. If you don't know that by now, there are porn sites for men who fetish big obese women. And I'm sure she has a large following of men that love to fetish over some big women. And to me, that's not boosting anybody's self-esteem if you're going to put your self-esteem in how many men you can sleep with and how many men that you can kick to the curb before they kick you to the curb. There's one song she has that says, I wasn't looking for commitment. Oh, you messed up. I could have been your girl. I wasn't looking for commitment. So it's kind of like, I'm not in it for love and commitment and all that. I just want you to work the middle. And when I'm done with you, I'll just toss you out with the trash. Okay, you can go now. Bye-bye. She has that attitude. And I'm sure that has something to do with her being hurt. I don't know her backstory, but based on her actions and the way she carries herself, at least on stage, to me, it's look at me. I'm not invisible. I am beautiful. I am sexy. I am talented. And you will see me the way I see myself. Guess what? When I was thin or thinner, I had another group of guys that thought I was attractive. When I got heavier, there was another group of guys that thought I was attractive. I don't expect the guys who find me attractive when I'm heavy to find me attractive when I'm thinner. I don't get mad or upset and think I'm inferior if every single guy that walks past me doesn't whistle at me or want my phone number. To me, that is definitely a sign of some insecurity going on. Now, it's one thing when if you're into like law of attraction and all of that stuff, when you create your truth, you create your reality. And that's probably what she's doing. But I don't believe that she believes what she says 100% of the time. I really don't. I really don't. Because how can you love yourself as much as you claim you love yourself, right? When you're abusing yourself with whatever you're consuming, whatever energy is around you, whatever vibe is around you, your clique, your crew, who's not telling you up front, like, girl, you need to chill out. Girl, that's a bit too much for the funeral tomorrow. You know, that type of thing. Like, I believe a true friend will save you from embarrassing yourself. Like, for real, a true friend will care enough about you, like, girl or woman or whatever, however way you talk to your friend, that's a bit too much. We need to tone that down because this atmosphere is not your concert. Tone it down a bit. I'm thinking of Janet Jackson right now. She just popped in my head. I never knew until probably recently. And when I say recently, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, because I've never gone to a Janet Jackson concert, but her concerts are very sensual and sexual and all the things she would do on stage. And she'll pick some random guy to come up on stage and she would just work it, okay? I didn't know that about Janet Jackson. I mean, what I knew about her was the music videos, right? How she would dance in the music videos, songs obviously on the radio, and the movies she was in, which she was depicting a character that was not her, obviously. But when I found out, yeah, her concerts, she gets real, like, sexy. Again, Janet Jackson knows or have known over the years which venues is suitable to, because her concerts is her concerts. You're paying to go see her, you know, do whatever she's gonna do. Lizzo, I don't know if part of that is marketing, where she don't care what you say about her as long as she's getting views. As far as social media, people talking about her. Like, for instance, I hear about, oh, Lizzo, and I'm like, who's this Lizzo? And what's so special about Lizzo? Yeah, she big or whatever. Okay, so, and there's plenty of big women that can sing. So what's so special about this Lizzo character? And so then I kind of got a feel, you know, of this entertainer. That's what I call her. She's definitely an entertainer. If you want to be entertained, Yeah, she's entertaining. But yeah, she crossed the line. She crossed the line. And again, it's almost like she said, you gonna see me. And I love myself. And you gonna see that I love myself. Okay. Well, if you were so confident in yourself, in the value of yourself, instead of eating whatever, you'll be like, okay, well, being that I want to honor my vessel where my spirit dwells in this lifetime, what can I do better for my health? What can I do spiritually to help raise myself to a higher dimension? What can I do? Who should I surround myself around? And then I'm thinking, maybe she has done something spiritual that has given her this wide open door of opportunity. Because I'm like, okay, we already got somebody like Beyonce or whatever. Okay. So are they trying to tap into a market of women that I guess they don't see themselves in a Beyonce or Rihanna or somebody. So they want to put somebody on a pedestal that could really bring in the money, right? Because they do it all the time anyway. But in this particular case, it's someone who is larger in size. At the end of the day, she's getting paid. But what she is doing to get paid, it feeds into the stereotype, not just Black women, because that's another conversation, stereotypes of loud, ratchet Black women, but a woman who happens to be on a large side that's so desperate to be loved, so desperate for attention, and just wants, even if it's a lie, just wants to be held and to make her feel like a woman, right? That left a bad taste in my mouth. Once again, the big girl being extra. And I've seen, big girls, at clubs and stuff when I used to go to a club back in college and pulling all the guys. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, most of these guys up in here, they're trying to get laid. I mean, it is what it is. When they go to a club, most of the guys are trying to get laid. Then you do have females who are also trying to get laid. Ain't no commitment, ain't trying to meet your future husband or future wife, none of that. They just trying to party, and their definition of party is drinking, drugs, and sex. That's it. And so there were plenty of females that I saw that was just as big, if not bigger than Lizzo, pulling some guys. And not saying, oh, well, she shouldn't be pulling guys because she big. No. They ain't got nothing to do with it. Part of it is there's this stereotype that bigger women are so desperate for attention that she's willing to have sex with as many men as she can just to get attention. So they're easy. That's what I'm trying to say. The big girls are easier to get the draws off. And it's disappointing. Let's just put it that way. It's almost like she's mixing self-empowerment and self-love with how many men she can have in her bed whenever she feels like it. Right? And to me, anybody I can have probably 10 men per day if I wanted to. No strings attached. Line out the door if I wanted to. Not a problem. But at the end of the day, that's not going to make me feel better about myself. Because women, in and of itself, women are seen as sexual objects anyway. And like, for real, like, as long as women have been walking this earth, we have been seen as sexual objects. And when it comes to biology and everything, it's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be that way. Because if you're not sexy or attracted to that man, he can't perform the way he wants to perform in order to procreate and have children and continue the cycle, right? So our species doesn't become extinct, okay? That's natural. And there's nothing wrong with sharing your most intimate element with another. But I am not on the same bandwagon with people that just sleep with people just so they can get a sexual high and then move on. Because there's too many things attached to that physical act. It's not just the physical act. Yeah, you may not be married to the person, you ain't committed to them, and maybe there's an arrangement between the two people where they just having sex. But there's ties in that act. You don't just have sex with a person and move on and forget about them. There is actually energy attached to you when you're that intimate with another person. So it's you're attached, right? So the point is, you just don't want to lay down with anybody. That's the point. It's like, I know people do it. Men have been stereotypically put in that category for ever that they'll sleep around, and usually the women won't. You know, they stay nice girlfriends or wives or whatever, and don't share what they got to offer. Anyway, it's a difference of opinion. I get it. You know, whatever's for that person is for that person. If Lizzo wants to have a different man in her bed every night, she's an adult, and however way she make her bed, she'll lay in that bed. I'm just saying, as far as the public messages, subliminal messages that are out there, that's what I'm talking about. Like, not all big girls are desperate for any kind of attention, right? Not all big girls are doing anything and everything, not just sexual attention, but any kind of attention, right? Desperate. Not all big women are desperate. That's what I'm trying to say. Not all big women are desperate. She is still young, right? She's in her 20s, and I'm sure she's on like a roller coaster ride right now with her career, and she's super duper excited that she's been given a chance and a platform to really rock it, right? But it's a bit much. It is a bit much for a ball game. And of course, I can think for myself. I'm at an age right now that I don't need to see a celebrity on TV and compare myself to a celebrity on TV to feel self-worth. But the problem is, you have a lot of people, regardless of age, that do that. You know, they see somebody, they look up to them, and they put them on a pedestal. That's their idol. I mean, that's like their God, or a God in their life. So hopefully Lizzo will come down from where she is and help her and find a way to balance right? She can be sexual, right? She can be in love with herself, but she needs to find that balance. What she twerking with or whatever, that's beautiful for the bedroom or whatever place in a structure that you decide to be intimate with another person. Everybody don't need to see that. And I feel the same way about anybody. I don't need to see what you're going to be wearing tonight or in the morning or at noon for lunch that has anything to do with your personal sexual life. I don't need to see what you're going to be wearing. That's the point. Oh, she's 31. Okay, I thought she was like 27, unless I was listening to an older song, because I was kind of listening to some of her music yesterday, and I think she mentioned 27. So it might have been like an older song that she was working on, and I just happened to come across it. So, I mean, yeah, she's technically middle age now, right? Middle age is like when you hit 30, or is it 40? Because I feel like I'm middle age, right? Yeah, I thought she was younger. She has a baby face. Yeah, she definitely has a baby face. So, which is actually going to be an advantage for her. Like many people, it's like when you got that baby face, you can be like 70 years old and look like you're 45. So, kudos to her for having a baby face. Let's see. Yeah, I felt middle. Well, I think I probably felt middle age in my late 20s. And the reason why is because I come from an environment that was always struggling, right? And when I went off to college, I was all about my education. I was all about, school, doing everything by the book, when you get your syllabus, right? I'm sitting there marking, checking everything off, make sure I highlight everything. I was trying to do everything I could possibly do, education-wise, higher learning-wise, so I wouldn't have to live the way I was brought up with limitations as far as financial. Like, there was always limitations, right? And then once I finished my college degree, I was all about internships and just grinding and working in law offices in DC. And big law offices, it's like 24/7 when they got a big case coming or whatever. And I would temp at a lot of these big time law offices. And I was grinding. I was grinding. And then when I finally got a permanent job, up until when I got laid off, and then the layoff. But the point is, right before the layoff, I was grinding, right? Because I wanted to show everybody that I can do this job. And as long as I do my job well, I wouldn't be on the chopping block. Well, you may not be the first one on the chopping block. Where I worked, I think there were like 9 layoffs. Like every quarter, they had another group of people that got laid off, or they'll dissolve a department, that type of thing. Because there was like a big acquisition / merger. And so I just remember every quarter they were letting people go. And then I got through to the 10th quarter, I think. The 10th round of layoffs. And then that's when they dissolved our department. So some people look at it as you were fired, but that's not the case. When you are laid off, you are not fired. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just the way it is. And plus, the industry that I worked in was real estate. And you know how the market can be, and the bubble bursts and blah, blah, blah. So the point is, dealing with all of that, the whole career thing and the layoff and everything, I felt like I was middle-aged in my mid to late 20s. So I've just always felt older anyway, because I've said this before, I am an old soul. I feel like I've been around for a minute, And, I just feel like I've been middle-aged for a while. So apparently she's 31 and she's still, but look at it this way, guys. You have a lot of these reality TV shows like Housewives or whatever, and they are up in their 40s and in some cases 50s, still acting like they are in high school. Like still like talking about petty stuff and, full of plastic and cutting this off and sewing this up and, I just feel like when people go under the knife that much, there's some deeper wounds that has nothing to do with the size of their nose. It really doesn't. Not at all. There's something deeper there, And when they lash out, right? And most of it's time is women. They're lashing out, trying to act like their feelings aren't hurt. And I'm a boss. I pay my own bills. I don't need you. And all of this stuff. There's something deeper there. There's some kind of lack there that has nothing to do with the external, right? And then some people can be so shallow that it is just the nose, or it's like, if you're so worried about that nose of yours or that chin, then you don't have real problems. You don't have real problems. You don't have world hunger problems or whatever if you worrying about your nose. Like, it is not that serious. So anyway, enough of Lizzo. Again, there's a mix-up between self-love and just self-sabotage. Let's just put it that way. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, hopefully not too long, is I believe it was University of Phoenix counseling student debt. And not all of it, or maybe it is all of it, but it was, let me see, hold on. $141 million. This was NBCnews.com. University of Phoenix agrees to cancel $141 million in student loan debt. I'm like, come on, Navient, formerly known as Sally Mae. Come on. Come on. Because my student loans is almost $100,000. That's my undergrad and my master's program. So if I can get from up under that bad boy, or at least cut it in half, that would be amazing. Now, some people, when they work for the feds, they work for state or local government, police officers, teachers, military people, people that work, public servants or whatever, they can qualify for programs through the federal government that will forgive their student debt after 10 years of paying their student loans on time, like clockwork, right? And that's not a problem for some people. Some other people, it could be a problem. Hi, sweet. How are you? Thanks for chiming in. And of course, I didn't announce this well in advance that I was going to come on. I just decided to, go live. And again, I have to do better, right? So you guys know exactly when I'm going to go live. Myself, so many interviews I've gone on, so many resumes sent out, wasted paper, wasted time, wasted effort, trying to strategically get a job like that. So 10 years later, I can get my debt wiped out. with the student loan thing. Of course, you can't file bankruptcy, nothing like that, because you can't get away from paying your student debts. Unless there's a new law in place, that's the way it is. But yeah, University of Phoenix, apparently they're going to cancel the debt. So something must have went down, or maybe somebody came in a boatload of money and they just felt charitable. I don't know. But I'm like, come on, Navigant, formerly known as Sally Mae. I need you to forgive. You ain't got to forgive nobody else's debt. Forgive mine so I can move on with life. That show would be nice. That's good karma for you, okay? Good karma. So when I saw that first, I thought it was like fake news, because I saw it on Facebook. But then I saw the source, and it was NBC News. I was like, okay, I guess they're trustworthy, But yeah, I know I'm not the only one that has a student loan that is just as large as a cheap mortgage on a house. And when I say cheap, anything under $100,000 or anything under $200,000, I think is cheap because of where I live. But I know there's homes that's within the hundreds. But yeah, whatever. The point is, I was part of the generation that was told to go to college. And if you don't have money to go to college, you can get loans, scholarships, what have you. Now, I got a few scholarships. But I think part of it is if I would have gone to a historically Black college, I probably would have got a boatload of money. The school I went to, they didn't give out a lot of scholarships. But me being me, when I set my mind to something, or my heart to something, or I'm emotionally attached to something, I'm going to make it happen. That's just me. Scratching and clawing all the way, but I'm going to make it happen. So I got accepted into ODU in the Norfolk area of Virginia. But I ended up going to George Mason in Northern Virginia. And George Mason does not, well, when I went, they did not give out a lot of scholarships. Like, you'll be lucky to get $1,000 scholarship. Lucky. But yeah, so if I would have went to like a historically Black college or university, I would have got a truckload of money because my record was on point. Okay, Honor Society, Golden Key Honor Society, National Society of Collegiate Scholars, Dean's List, right? You name it, I was on it. Okay, but it is what it is. So now in life, I'm paying almost $500 a month for student loans. Now, I wouldn't mind paying that if it's something that I'm living in, like a house or something, right? But for education, and I'm not doing what I'm doing now for work. I didn't have to go get my master's degree to do what I'm doing. Let's just put it that way. They did require college, undergrad, bachelor's, or whatever, but they didn't require master's. I was trying to transition to another industry for security purposes because I had got laid off. And during the layoff, I decided to get my master's degree because I had plenty of time, right? And I love to learn. So I'm like, okay, this must be a sign that I need to go get my master's degree and be productive throughout this layoff. Who knows how long this is going to be. And this will be the time where I can transition into another industry that's a bit more stable. And that didn't quite work out the way I hoped it would be because once I got in the program and I got out of the program and tried to get a residency, tried to get a fellowship, then the next layer that I was not aware of is that not only does your school need to be accredited, but your program that you're in must be accredited. Now, they did advertise the MBA program as accredited, blah, blah, blah. But at that time, I didn't understand like programs being accredited in addition to the school being accredited. So the program that I was in was similar to the MBA, but it wasn't exactly like the MBA because I focus on healthcare administration. And so, long story short, I found out the hard way that a lot of those fellowships at those hospitals throughout the nation, they required your program to be accredited. So that was a smack in the face. And many times these schools do not they do not market a whole accredited. Like, I understand they constantly raise the bar. They constantly raise the bar as far as competition, right? They try to decrease the competition, so they keep raising the bar. I get that. But while they're raising the bar, I'm in a program. And then while I'm in the program, they raise the bar, right? So by the time I get out of the program, because I was so focused on the grades, right? When it's time to actually put the study in motion, oh, now all of a sudden, oh, it's not good enough because it's not accredited. But yet the school kept taking my money. And I kept busting my butt to get an A average. Okay? There's nothing easy about a master's program at all. Nothing. Because it's a master's program. I say all of this. I don't want to say that I wasted my time and money getting my master's degree, but it would be nice if I got paid handsomely doing what I'm doing now, which I'm not getting paid handsomely. I'm being paid pretty good, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not where I need to be long term. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, it is what it is. That's why now I'm on a whole nother platform, and the platform is spiritual. And then getting my spiritual house right, everything else will fall in place. That's where I am right now. I'm at a point right now where the platform that I was raised on as far as spiritually catapulted me to where I am today, along with life experiences and life disappointments and life's obstacles, right? I am growing spiritually. I am learning about myself more so than I did when I restricted myself to study one particular perspective of the highest divinity. And I believe it's impossible to put all that power in one box. So at this point in my life, I'm not so much attached to a career. I'm not attached to, a car I'm driving or the house I'm living in. I mean, you do want to live in a safe neighborhood, right? But I don't need a basketball court and a fountain in the front, cul-de-sac and all that. Nah. I want to go deeper. That's where the power is. Not this facade, like people like myself shopping at an outlet thinking you're getting the real stuff. No, you're getting the stuff that was made for outlets, not the same stuff that's in retail. Sad but true. You may have the name. It may look like what's in retail, but it's not the same quality because the outlet is discounted prices. I want the real thing. And that's how I feel about my spiritual walk. I want the real thing. I don't want the discounted version of this path of mine. I don't want that. I'm done with that. I'm at a point in my life right now. I am so done with discounts. I'm done with spiritual sales. Buy one, get one free. I'm done with that. No, I expect full price. And part of full price is experience. I can read all day. I can read someone else's experience all day. But when it really matters is when I experience it. When I utilize the energy within me. To create my path. No more limits. No more. None. So yes, it was nice to see that article at University of Phoenix in the whole student debt thing. Nice, right? But at the same time, what I seek is beyond measure. What I seek is on a higher dimension, several dimensions higher than this. And of course we've been conditioned to go to school and be someone else's slave, right? We've been conditioned to work for somebody else. Many of us have not been taught to be entrepreneurs. We may not have come from a family that owns everything. You know, that took generations to master. So obviously they passed that down from generation to generation. So it's very common knowledge for people that were brought up that way. The rest of us, we were trained, we were conditioned to stay in line, follow somebody else's perspective, right? They call laws, man-made, by the way. And after you do everything that you have been taught to do, then you find out later, this is it. Is this why I went to school and spent so many hours studying, writing, stressing for this? Is this all life can offer? No, it's not. It's not. This right here is one dimension. Well, it's not the first dimension. It's more like I believe it's the third dimension. But the point is, this is a dimension, kind of on the low end. The goal is for all of us to make it to the highest of the highest of the highest dimension on a spiritual level. That's what I'm talking about. That's more of a concern for me, is getting past the disappointments in life and creating my reality. Okay? Creating my reality. Because doing it the way that I was conditioned to do, like many of us, is not working. Is not. Not for the level that I expect in my life. It's not working. So, at the end of the day, I am in a position to create my reality, to help my spirit grow. It's up to me. And to seek pieces of the puzzle so I can get to where I need to get to. That's the mission for all of us, really. Just some people are more advanced. And maybe because they've been around, several lives or whatever. So they're getting to that place. And many of us are very immature spiritually. And we just take whatever we're fed and, like a baby. Well, I no longer want to attend preschool. Above that. I'm above preschool. I'm above elementary school. And for people or organizations that pressure those to stay in preschool or elementary school and try to control them with fear, sad. It's sad, but we have to get through it. Those obstacles have been put in place to really stretch our spiritual wings. We just have to see it for what it is, discern, what have you, tap into that inner power that's been there all along. You just got to activate it and make it happen. Make it happen. Do whatever you need to do. Cleanse, what have you. Spiritual cleanses, whatever you need to do to raise your vibrations. The higher your vibration, the more high vibrational experiences you will partake in. You got to raise that vibration. It's necessary. And if not, it's just you're going to be regurgitating negative, difficult, hell on earth situations. So that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, I definitely get it. I definitely understand how people feel financially being stuck, You're not quite poor, but when you have so many other leeches, financial leeches out there, nickeling and diming you, by the time you're done dealing with all of that, you're working poor. It is what it is. We've been conditioned to be working poor. Work, 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 while someone else is, living very comfortably. Flexible hours, come and go as they please, But it is what it is. This is the reality that I've created in my life unknowingly. And so the past couple of years, I've been seeing things come to pass that has been very motivational. It has given me self-confidence, and it's just so much to learn outside of a freaking textbook that we've been handed for years. And I'm sitting here thinking about all that time in school, and really I wasn't in school. Oh, so what I'm speaking, Alan, actually is hitting home for you too. You are not alone. Not at all. Not at all. And so my sister was telling me my nephew, which is her youngest son, he's in school, undergrad, and now he's saying he don't think he wants to continue because he was going to school for his business administration. Because I always call him my little professor, right? Had so many hopes and dreams for him, right? So now he done got to the point where he understands that there's no guarantee that when he gets that college degree that he's going to be set for life. And so he's starting to become tired of it. And he mentioned a couple of things he wanted to do that didn't have nothing to do with ownership or entrepreneurship, right? And so my sister was like, okay, well, if that's something that you think you might like, don't forget that it's better to be an owner or create jobs. Well, she didn't say it that way, but for the most part, she was saying, own, be the boss. You're more than capable. If you go ahead and continue and get your business administration degree or whatever, at least you have a foundation, you have a foundation where you can connect with other people on the same wavelength, that's about something, that's about entrepreneurship. And you just stick with people like that, then if whatever you think you want to do, you can own the shop or you can own, whatever it is. Don't get caught in this, working poor matrix, because that's what it is. So he's like, he'll be 22 next May. Yeah, so he's 21. I mean, he's still young. It's not like he's 31, still acting a fool, twerking on stage. But yeah, I understand where he's coming from. And it's very disappointing when you spend all that time, effort, and money you don't have, so you get student loans, to get a degree that's not going to benefit you. I mean, you have positions out there that require a freaking bachelor's degree or whatever college degree, and you barely making $17 an hour. When I first got out of college, the first permanent job that I was able to land, which was 9 months later, I think. 9 months later, because I was temping off and on after I graduated. That's a long story in and of itself, because I had a job promised to me, and then they pulled a rug from up under me. And I've gotten over that, but I held on to that bitterness for years because I was set. But anyway, so my first permanent position after I graduated from college started me out at $24,000 a year in the DC metropolitan area, which is ridiculously expensive. Not quite like San Francisco, but expensive. And I got a college degree. And the people that I worked around did not have college degrees. They got their jobs 20 plus years right out of high school. Does not require a college degree. But yet they wanted somebody with a college degree and gonna pay me $24,000 a year. Yeah, it happens. It happened to me. Now, granted, you could probably get, paid internships, which is chump change as well. You might, when I was interning, I think they were, I interned at American Heart Association in DC. It was a summer internship. And this is actually after I graduated from my master's program, and they paid me $10 an hour. And here I am in my 30s working or interning at American Lung Association for $10 freaking an hour. Grown woman making $10 an hour with all this education. That's modern borderline. I wouldn't say slavery, but But at the end of the day, it's like, that's how they get that cheap labor. I'm telling y'all, it's a system set up. It really is. It is a, when they know people need experience, they have leverage. And when we have been conditioned again to go through college or whatever, just so we, like the Jeffersons, you know what I mean? Moving on up to the east side. No. But guess what? He was a business owner. He owned his own business. Okay. I'm sure he worked for other people, you know, before he became a business owner. But at the end of the day, they moved on the east side when he owned his business. So I'm talking to myself really, because I need to be the boss. Whatever I decide to do, I need to be the boss. There's no other options. For real, for real. I'm at a point in my life right now, I'm ready to retire from the BS. In the next era of my life will be job creator. So that's where I am right now. But before all of that can happen, working on my spiritual reality, creating my reality is no longer an option. It's mandatory. It's mandatory. I have to take that seriously over career and all that stuff. Because then everything else will line up. Everything else will fall in place. Once that spiritual work is done, then everything will just fall in place. Fall in place. Just saying. So I'm over it. And there may be some people a bit younger than me that's in college, or maybe not. Maybe they got the memo, said, I'm not going to waste my money or my time going to a 4-year college. I'll just get my associate's degree. Perfect. Perfect. Some people, they go into a trade, right? Whatever the trade is. And a lot of times they offer trade classes in high school, but then I think they took that away a while ago. Like they don't offer a lot of that stuff in some schools. But like, you know, fixing cars and stuff like that. Mechanics make so much freaking money. And the more electrical the cars are, the more it costs to keep it maintained and to fix it. They're making a killing. And you thinking, oh, you know, get a blue collar and get a white collar job. Guess what? A lot of these blue collar jobs are making bank. Making bank. And you don't think they are, because they don't sit behind a freaking desk. They don't have to. They use their hands. And when it's time to fix something, when it's time to build something, who you call? Like right now, in the process of relocating in an area that is somewhat remote from, somewhat off the grid, but not off the grid. When you want to get anything done as far as construction, anything, we talking about thousands of dollars. And these are people walking around with their pants torn, maybe some dirt under their fingernails, right? But you just paid them $5,000 to add a ramp to your, you know, to your porch or something. Or you just paid them, you know, $12,000 to redo your roof. They in the hot sun, sweating, probably getting rained on, risking their lives, you know, crawling under, you know, crawl spaces, might get bit by a snake, whatever. the jobs that people behind a desk would much rather pay somebody to do. Well, guess what? They're getting paid. So you don't necessarily have to go to college. You just can go to trade school, learn a trade, and get that experience or whatever. Be like I'm trying to think of the term, apprentice. You can be an apprentice. You can go to your county's website, through the county department website, and look for apprenticeships. I used to look for apprenticeships. Couldn't find anything in the direction I was trying to go in. Or if there was something there, somebody else got it. Guess what? It was a family member or best friend's son needed experience, and then they gave him the position. My thing is, why advertise it if you already know who you want to fill the position? Don't advertise. Just give it to them. False advertisement. That's what it is. Anyway. So, you live long enough, you're going to be disappointed either way. Either more so than other people. But there are going to be times when you're just going to be disappointed. When you thought by following somebody else's perspective to reach whatever you were told is ideal, that may not necessarily be what you're supposed to be doing. And so, like I said, me working on my spiritual work, raising my vibrations. We got a full moon coming up tomorrow. Do what I need to do on the full moon. And let things fall in place the way it ought to be. Because sometimes when you are frustrated, sometimes that's put there so you can be pushed in the direction you need to go in. Because if you're comfortable, you're going to stay there behind a computer all day, doing the same thing, clicking the same buttons all day. And that's pretty much your work day, right? Most of your life. But if you start getting uncomfortable, you start feeling like this is not for me, I need to get up out of here, people getting on my nerves, blah, 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 blah. That is a gift. Because all that's going to do is push you. All that's going to do is push you where you need to be to reach your higher self. That's all that is. Because if like a diamond, without that heat, that diamond would not exist. You need heat in order for that precious stone to crystallize and, become what it is, right? You need the heat. You need the pressure. You need it. It's necessary. A woman gives birth. Yeah, y'all can get epidurals or whatever. And I never had a child, but I know people that got epidurals trying to decrease the pain of the process of having this child. Sometimes getting that needle to suppress that pain backfires. But the pain is part of the process. Without the pain, the child couldn't move through. The child will die, whatever. You can't birth nothing without pain. That's the point. There needs to be some kind of chaos, right? Got to be some chaos. Think about the Big Bang Theory. I've mentioned this, I think, before. There needed to be chaos. And now look at our environment. Like me, you, this phone, all this came from chaos. And so, yes, some people can be chaotic in your life and they're annoying. People you know, people you don't know. Maybe somebody will cross you the wrong way. And that does happen. But there's a reason why they were placed in your life to get on your nerves or to hold you back or what you think is a held back. No, when the time is right, you will leap forward when the time is right for you. So just because, let's say your best friend did everything that everybody else said they should do and it worked for them, and you're sitting here like, something's not right here. Because then you start doing the compare game. Well, these were the grades that I got. These were the grades they got. They're on the fast track of the life that we both were striving for. But yet, my path is not moving as fast as I thought it should. Part of that is because that path that I thought was ideal is not for me. I believe my path is taking me to another level. Because if I was distracted by what I thought was the goal, that career, that house, whatever, retirement fund, that in and of itself is a distraction. Because as long as you're like, oh, mortgage is paid, there ain't nothing wrong with that. And ain't nothing wrong with paying your bills, paying for services. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're so focused on the material stuff, then when is there time to focus on the spiritual stuff? Now, I'm not saying pay your tithes and hope God will bless you with abundance because you paid your 10%. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about deeper than that. Much deeper than that. Yeah, you say you hate when they do that. I guess you were talking about when they post a position that's not really available. Or what they do is they will what's the word? They will create a position for someone and they have in mind, but have it so tailored it's specifically for that person, not for everybody else. So they said they would pick, they have their wish list of things, but it's really tailored for the person that they really want to take the position. So that's their excuse, like, well, you didn't meet all of these wishes that we needed. Yeah, you hit the mark with the things that were required. But all this extra stuff down here, you didn't fit in that category. Maybe because you already had somebody, right? But yet you just wasted my time. You wasted my money. Many times I would go on job interviews, taking public transit. You wasted my money and my time. Instead of just not publicly posting, a position or whatever, but whatever. Just something for their books so they can say that they interviewed people. But to me, just be upfront. You already know who you want. Stop wasting my time. But anyway, I think I'm done with this video. Thanks, guys, for watching. Again, I'm all about empowerment, self-love and all that. But again, there's self-love and there's being desperate for anything, right? So people like Lizzo and other folks, eventually, I believe that they're going to, they may not publicly admit it, but they will eventually see what they need to work on. So hopefully this backlash or whatever she got among other entertainers will help her grow in the direction she needs to go in. You said something's not going through, sweet. What do you mean? Happy birthday, Alan. Yeah, this message is for me, is for anybody out there that has been dealing with this, similar things like that. Like, I know people want to have someone to look up to or have an example to strive to be similar to, but we all just need to walk our own path, love ourselves, and be the best that we can be. That's the goal. The goal is not to be a clone. That's the point. The point is not to be a clone of somebody else's success or what you think is success. That's not the goal. The goal is to find yourself, raise your vibrations, and eventually elevate to the highest dimension. That's the goal. And it may take several tries, right? Because we all kind of get sidetracked or distracted here in this life, but we have to keep being who we are and not to try to be like someone else. And even though Lizzo said she been doing what she been doing from day one and she ain't gonna change or whatever, okay, maybe that is her truth. But guess what? That's not high vibration. She's gonna have to learn how to balance, right? She could be a little ratchet, but can't be ratchet all the time. You got to balance it. You got to weigh it out, like the whole empowerment thing. The empowerment thing is high vibration, right? And this other stuff that she's doing is low. She's gonna have to bring the scale back up and balance it out. Ain't nothing wrong with loving yourself, finding beauty in yourself, and feeling sexy. There's nothing wrong with that. It's normal to have sexual, energy or whatever like that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But there's a time and there's a place for everything. Okay? There's a time and a place for everything. And eventually people learn, and eventually people get tired of this marketing man-made shock factor. Like everything's a shock to get attention. Guess what so-and-so did? Guess what so-and-so did? It's shock. Ratings. Eventually people gonna get tired of all of that. They're gonna get tired of people crying wolf. Look over there, look over there, look over there. Fear. They're gonna get tired of the fake news. One day they're gonna wake up and like, I'm done. So that's all I have to say, guys. I think I've said a mouthful. It's been almost an hour and a half. And even though I didn't talk too much about what I typically do, but this I had to get from a former bigum, big girl. And again, I'm still kind of, I guess you can call me plus size. But when I was much heavier, and you can look at my older videos and see what I'm talking about. When I was much heavier, I'm speaking from that perspective where you can feel sexy, you can feel love, you can have self-love and everything, but you don't have to be desperate. You don't have to show how desperate you are for attention. It starts within. It starts within. And whatever she has created to catapult her career, you're going to have people that love it and you're going to have people that hate it. And at this point, I'm neither. Because I could care less what she does. But speaking from a big girl, previous big girl, this whole desperate, I need a man, whatever. May she find what she's looking for. And may everyone else find themselves and be their authentic selves. You're not doing yourself any good by trying to have this facade of confidence. Let's say facade of confidence, right? You're not doing yourself any good versus digging deep and working on that self-love inside and not just saying it, right? You got to believe it. You got to believe it. So, anyway, I got to go. It's time to eat. And actually, it's too late to eat, but I need to eat dinner. Thanks, guys, for watching. Be blessed. Be a blessing to others, right? Self-love. Raise your high vibration. Raise your vibrations. Bring it up, right? Bring it up so you can attract more of that love, more of that bliss. Create your reality. And I'm talking to the choir, okay? I'm talking to the choir. So anyway, thanks, Alan. Thanks, Sweet. Thanks, I think it was Ari. Yeah, Ari Ben. I don't know if you're still on watching, but thanks, guys. Thanks for those who have been watching, who will be watching. Thank you. You could have been doing anything else, but you decided to sit here and watch me talk about random stuff. But anyway, thank you. Again, be blessed. Be a blessing to others. And until next time, toodles, guys.